Well, welcome back. I'm Brent Haley from UiPath, and we are behind the scenes in the RPA world. And today we're in Columbus, Ohio, and I have the ability to catch up with one of our customers, Motorist. And Jeffrey, thank you for taking some time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. Beautiful city. First time I've been in Columbus, Ohio, and I love it so far.
Great.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and Motorist.
So I'm an AVP in customer experience at Motorist Insurance Group. We deal with everything from the front end applications, the mobile applications, closed feedback loops, customer service, RPA became in that. My actual focus is on technology and innovation with inside of the Motorist Insurance Group, and really our goal is to tie what is typically a disjointed customer experience end to end and really make it as seamless as possible. So we're using UiPath to fill in feature gaps in our core systems, in our front end systems, sending out automated communications in a personalized way based on data. We're also using it behind the scenes, converting from old systems onto new systems as part of a digital transformation. There just seems to be endless use cases for this.
How did you get started? People always wonder two things with our viewers. One, get started, which we'll talk about, and then kind of scaling, right, which we talked about today. But let's start with getting started. How did you get started with it?
Well, getting started, first you have to have a good business driver.
Yeah.
And our business driver was do more with less. We grow through mergers and acquisitions. You end up with a lot of duplicated job functions. You unfortunately end up with some people leaving the company after mergers. There's unnatural high attrition. So we had that concept, a really big business driver of how do we do more with less. And so that's when we started to look at robotic process automation. I think we took a very similar path as a lot of people. We looked at the big three. UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, and really the community, the training, the price point made the ease of use to use the tool. Really, UiPath set itself apart from the others. We chose them, picked a very high profile POC, but one that we knew was very easy to complete. So we were grabbing data from different websites, sending out a personalized message to our insurance agents about their policyholders and where they sat in the payment cycle, basically looking for folks that were about to cancel either due to a missing payment or an initial down payment. Very highly received. There were people doing this, it was a feature gap. There were people doing it that were basically, we were dedicating one person 3 days a week to do this. We automated this process, and now all of a sudden, basically someone was clicking the button, putting their user credentials in. We had to do that because we didn't involve security. And we tried to get this in as a proof of concept. And it just sat there, they watched it, approved everything basically. From that standpoint, security was good with that. Now, to scale, you definitely have to involve security. You've got to get service accounts. There's a little more overhead with that.
To go into true production, right?
To go into true production, yes. To get out of that proof of concept pilot state. Scaling, people are a part of that. It seems like we could only go so far getting consultants and contractors to come in. I mean, it's costly, it's expensive. There's time to set that up and get the engagements going, requirements, handoffs, systems, training. It's a lot better to get a few resources internal, what we found. So we have a team of 3 that kind of function as business analysts, developers for automation, and they really work hand in hand with the business areas and get it out.
And are they maintaining also? So as you continue to grow and get more processes, they're kind of doing that back end maintenance a little bit?
We build it and we maintain it.
Now,
this is not your typical IT project. We are very clear that this is like a person, right? If you change an application, you need to retrain your people on what to do, right? The same thing with a robot. So even though we've automated it, someone still has to understand what the steps are for if and when it breaks. If you need this then and there, someone's going to manually have to do this until we have the time to go back and maintain the project.
Interesting.
And that's all demand management, right? It's a pretty typical software development lifecycle scenario, right? You have maintenance priorities, you have production support, and you have new build.
How are the people taking it? People in the company, and we always were, again, robots are here. Their job has changed. The future work is different now. How do they feel?
Well, first, I think some people were a little intimidated, and then they really saw what we were doing. Right? We're not trying to get rid of people. if anybody, we're getting rid of contractors, not having the need to bring them in so often, because it is very tedious, mind-numbing. Where copy paste,
exactly.
right? That's the kind of work we're automating, and people are happy about that, because these are typically jobs where people are like, oh, I don't want to do this, and what we're seeing is what we're automating are the jobs people are rotating around and doing, like, half a day Monday, and then someone else does it on Tuesday, and someone else does it on Thursday, because nobody wants to do it. It's just so
it's the
horrible.
Mandatory horrible stuff you have to do.
And so it's really freeing them up, and I think they're seeing that. So now, as opposed to being intimidated by it, now everyone's trying to come up with names for the robots, and everyone has their favorite thing, whether it's a Star Wars robot or but Futurama comes up a lot for robots, and trying to come up with naming schemes for all these things, because I was very unimaginative and called them Robot 1, 2, 3, and 4. So people don't like that for some reason when they get the email from that robot.
A little bit more personal.
They want it to be personalized now. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how that's shifted once they see how their life has been impacted by the robot.
It will change. It will definitely change over the next few years. It'll be interesting for us as in the business, and I think for kids that are coming and young adults coming into the business. Very, very different. My last question for you is, where do you see RPA going in the next, let's say, 12 months? Right? What's the forecast?
Well, it's really scaling out. So we started very, very small. We had that proof of concept. It ran on one unattended robot, which we actually ran in an attended fashion, but knew we wanted to kind of grow that. We then went to these kind of on-demand, that was a scheduled service. We then went to these on-demand services. So we've now purchased a couple more robots. We have the orchestrator that we've also, well, I don't think we've technically purchased it. It's still in the procurement process, that we're going to expand that out to. So we're going to see a lot more of these on-demand services to help out folks like customer service, and when emails come in, classifying those, doing some OCR, moving that out. At the very end of 12 months, I'd really like to see a proof of concept where it reaches out to something intelligent to start making decisions, so involving AI a little bit more.
And well, I think that'll fall in with some of the stuff we're doing in product and dragging in AI Fabric and some other announcements that we do. So we'll partner together.
Looking forward to seeing it.
I think we're going to hear from Param later today a little bit about the future of what we're doing, so I'm sure you'll be interested in that. Thank you for your time, Jeffrey. Great story, great stuff you guys are doing in the company. I'm glad to hear that people are embracing it, right? Which is a big difference. A few years ago, robots are coming, and now this is really helping our daily life and changing the future of work. So behind the scenes here in Columbus, Ohio, make sure if you want to have a live event and attend one with UiPath, go to our website, uipath.com/events, see where we're coming to your city, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks, Jeffrey. Appreciate it.
Thank you.